Welcome, everybody, to the next podcast of the Swing Trade Blueprint. Hope you guys are all having a fantastic day today. Now, we are going to be chatting. We are going to be talking about investing, trading during a stock market crash. I think we all know, and I think we've all have seen that today has kind of been that start, been the massive sell-off, the thing that causes a lot of fear, a lot of panic in the market. So we're going to be talking about pretty much how to trade, how to invest during a stock market crash, recession. So I hope you guys all enjoy it. If you guys are new to the podcast, make sure you guys hit that like button and follow, subscribe, and pretty much thanks for hanging out with us. If you guys want to learn more about investing, trading during the market, I highly recommend checking out the Swing Trading Masterclass. That is our school. That is my pride, my joy, everything that I love, and pretty much everything that I've learned over this past 6 years of trading and investing into the stock market. And given the stock market's crashing, I'm going to do a massive crash sale for the course, $50 off the course using code CRASH. So check that out. I'll put it down below. And we do also have a ton of fun things down below as well, like one-on-one. So if you have any questions, or if you want to learn more about investing and trading and you just want that one-on-one experience, check that out. And we do have an amazing trading journal and investing journal. I'll put that down below for you guys as well. So let's kind of jump into this here. So we're going to be talking about today pretty much how to identify the best opportunity for sell-off here. We're also going to be talking about, chatting about pretty much stock market crashes. We're going to be talking about the emotions, the psychology, the psychology behind that, the importance of being prepared, as well as different strategies during crashes. And then we're also going to have some tips, tricks, and then some common mistakes to avoid. So that's kind of the approach. That's kind of the layout here. So, all right, what is a stock market crash? So in simple terms, a stock market crash is when the general index of the S&P 500, the Dow Jones, or the NASDAQ sells off about 20%. So that is what causes it. That is the definition of a crash. Now, what we also have a tendency of seeing is a stock market correction. There is a huge difference between the two. A stock market correction is when the stock market sells off 10%. A crash is 20%. Now, on average, we'll have a crash anywhere from 4 to 6 years, and then a stock market, correction about every year and a half to every 2 years. So given that right now we're already down about 8%, we're approaching the correction territory and then possible recession and crash territory. So historical examples of stock market crashes, I think we all remember the 2020 crash where we had all the lockdowns and everything like that, which caused the S&P, the Dow Jones to sell off about 30%. Then previous to that, we had 2008. Then we had the dot-com bubble. Then we had the 1987 crash, and obviously the Great Depression. Now, the common causes of crashes can range from global conflicts to war to pandemics to just housing market. It all depends on kind of the economy. And right now, kind of what we're seeing and why a lot of people are fearful is as of Friday, we did get the unemployment rate, which came in at about 4.3%, which was a little higher than what Wall Street expected, which caused that first sell-off, right? On Friday, we all, or at least I did, I don't know about you guys, but we all got a bunch of sell-off in the market. It was a very, very unstable time. So, one of the things here that in my opinion, is really, really bad is the emotional side of crashes. And the reason why this is so important is because what we always hear, not during crashes, is buy low, sell high. And given that crashes cause us to kind of question ourselves, it kind of, when you see your portfolio losing money, this will cause you to say, oh my gosh, maybe I should sell and get out of this position. But when you're hitting all-time highs, you never think that. So the best approach I can give you is this, is if you're young, especially like me, crashes have to be looked at as a positive thing. And I know it's weird to think that way, but you have to look at crashes as a way to buy stocks at a cheaper price. Stocks, indexes, ETFs at a cheaper price. Imagine if you guys wanted to buy a house, right? That house kept going up and up and up in value. You kept looking at it. Maybe one year it was 100,000, then the next was 120. Imagine that stock or that house that you wanted to buy was $200,000 now. Now, in 1 year, it went from 200 to 120. That would be the best opportunity to buy it, right? Buying it on that dip, the house could be worth $200,000. So you have to look at stocks as the same thing. You can't be fearful when it comes to trading or investing in the market. There's a difference between being fearful and just understanding risk. But so understand, that through the past 90 years, through all the ups, through all the downs, the Great Depression, all the crashes that we already talked about, like the Great Depression, the 1987 crash, the 2008 crash, the 2020 crash. What has always happened to the market? It's recovered. So if you play the game of trying to time the market, you'll miss out on opportunities. So it's always better to try to have time in the market when it comes with long-term investing than trying to time the market. Trying to time the market, it does work if you can get in on certain indicators and stuff like that, if you understand what you're doing. So check out our course. But you just got to have some sort of edge over other people. So when it comes with crashes, you have to be prepared. How do you prepare? So the first thing I would highly recommend doing is just having cash. Cash is king when it comes to any type of economy we're in. Because what that does is, one, it can be used as a safety net for you. So if that's just say you have a rough month and you need extra cash for bills, you can have that. Second reason, if stocks sell off to a cheaper price and you can buy them at a cheaper price, you need cash to buy them. Cash. Another thing that you guys can do is look at bonds. Bonds are an easy way to get some dividends, a little slower growth, and a little bit of a lesser risk tolerance, but still have a bunch of potential. And this kind of brings me to my next one, is being diversified. Being diversified is a great way to spread out your risk tolerance. And the reason why is because if that's just one sector could get hit harder than the others. Right now, what we've seen is technology getting absolutely obliterated. We've seen companies like Nvidia, Google, Apple, Meta, Amazon, all those companies that are tech heavy, invested into AI, have done very well the past couple of years. They're getting smoked right now because for a couple of reasons. One, they're spending so much money on artificial intelligence. Two, you have a stock up in some cases 200%. So sell off when it comes to that is normal. It's healthy for a stock to sell off after a huge move. So, being diversified will spread out that loss, right? Because if you had dividend stocks, S&P 500 ETFs, and maybe some tech's getting hit, but the others might not be getting hit as hard. Another thing that you guys can do is focus on dividends. Dividend stocks historically don't sell off as much during recessions. And the reason why that is people are less likely to sell stocks that's paying them cash flow. So maybe start looking at like Coca-Cola, companies that are a little more stable, more on the value side, rather than just these massive growth plays. So make sure you guys spread out your risk and adjust your investment strategy just a little bit according to your risk tolerance. And obviously, the younger you are, the more riskier you can be because you have time to your advantage. If you're a little older, I would recommend just sticking to like the S&P 500, some cash, maybe some bonds, maybe some value stocks, and just try to limit out the growth plays because they're going to be a little more volatile and a little more risky in your portfolio. So some strategies for investing during crashes. One of the things that I love is just basic value investing, identifying undervalued stocks that are still having good revenues, good earnings reports, but are sold off just due to the general market selling off, historically have represented a very, very good time to invest. a lot of these are going to be value picks. So these are going to be companies kind of like I mentioned, like Coca-Cola, Johnson and Johnson, companies that really, really have been around for a while, pay steady dividends, maybe have a balance sheet where they only grow their revenue 3-4%, but still are just more stable, have good cash reserves. Stuff like that is important. Another strategy is just straight up dollar cost averaging. Dollar cost averaging is a great way to invest into growth stocks or ETFs and even value picks, any type of investment, because what you do is you really don't try to time the stock, you just continue that process of investing. So dollar cost averaging is just investing consistently into an investment. So if the investment goes down, your average cost on it is going to be lower. So once it recovers, it's going to be lower, so you're going to make more money. It's a simple way to invest, but anybody can do it, especially with the brokers nowadays. It benefits huge in volatile markets because you can buy at cheaper prices, and stuff like that. Another one here is just basic rebalancing your portfolio, going to those dividend stocks, going to a little more cash reserve. And that's why people will sell their shares, is because they are rebalancing. So yeah. All right. So now let's talk about some very, very common mistakes that a lot of traders or investors do. Is the first one is they panic sell. This is the last thing I want to see you guys do, is to panic sell. I would rather see you guys buy more than panic sell. Panic selling is a recipe for disaster because you're pretty much buying at the lowest, or you're selling at the lowest of the lows. Like I said, we always heard the expression of buy low, sell high, and you are doing the complete opposite of what that expression states. You want to buy at, or you want to sell at highs and buy at lows. So given if you have a 52-week low, buy some stock. If you're at a 52-week high, then maybe start thinning out your portfolio or something along those lines. Another one here is chasing losses. If you're in a position and you're looking at the fundamentals and they're not good, and the stock's selling off and selling off and selling off, and other stocks are starting to rebound, maybe look at just getting out of it and moving on to other opportunity. For me, especially with my approach with swing trading, I'm willing to admit when I am wrong, but on stocks I'm right on, I am willing to hammer down and buy a bunch. And you got to have that same approach, right? When you're wrong on a position or an investment, you have to just be wrong, cut your losses, move on to other opportunity. But when you're right, be willing to hammer down, right? Imagine if you bought Apple low and you see it climbing up. Imagine during that climb up, you're watching it go up, you just buy a little more, and then your profits really start to compound. So the last one is ignoring just basic fundamentals. Fundamentals don't lie, revenues don't lie. So look at those, make sure the company you're investing in honestly is just having increasing revenues, has a very, very good balance sheet, good profit margins. But more importantly, when it comes with investing during recessions, one of the things that I look at is I look at stocks on an up, or I look at stocks that have a good cash reserve. A good cash reserve or holding of cash is important during recessions, because when they're going through that hard time, you want to make sure they have enough cash to continue to invest in the company. If something goes wrong, they have enough cash to continue to pay the employees, keep the company afloat, stuff like that. A basic selection of stocks here. If you're trying to find undervalued stocks, this is what Peter Lynch does, who's one of the best investors, traders of all time. What he does is he finds a trailing PE of 25, so less than 25, a forward PE of pretty much less than 15, a debt to equity less than 35, an EPS growth of more than 15%, a PEG ratio of less than 1.2, and a market cap less than 5 billion. That is a very simple criteria that that you can do to find undervalued plays. I've done it in the past. It does work very, very, very well. So just write those down. Like I said, trailing PE of less than 25, forward PE of less than 15, debt to equity of less than 35%, EPS growth of more than 15%, a PEG ratio of less than 1.2, and a market cap under $5 billion. That's a very simple thing you guys can do to start finding undervalued plays. So now that we're talking about, now that we talked about mistakes, finding plays, having long-term perspective is very, very, very important. The average crash lasts for about 14 months. 14 months. That's all you need. It's not much time. So you just got to have those long-term outlooks and you'll be in a great spot. And you might be saying, how do you buy stocks? Use brokers. I'll put some brokers down below. Like Moomoo, absolutely fantastic, offers dividend reinvesting and trading tools to find undervalued plays with great scanners. I'll put them down below. As well as check out our school, code CRASH, $50 off. Check it out. But guys, that is it for today's pod. I hope you guys all enjoyed it. If you guys did, hit that like button and subscribe. And we'll see you guys in the next one. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Take care, and we'll see you guys later. Have a good one.